Well, we'll go ahead and get started, and if um, Catherine joins us, she can jump in. But we'll just go around, and everybody pretty much knows everybody. But if anybody's got anything going on, so I'm Krisha Spears from the Reach Initiative. I dropped in the chat the Leading for Justice summit that we will have in January in Charleston. So we're still accepting proposals for that. So if anybody is interested in presenting, download the flyer, and it will give you information how to send your proposal to Lyda Shepherd. Trying to think of what else. I don't know. That's all we've really got going on right now. So, Bonnie.
Sorry, guys, had to take it off mute. My name is Bonnie Helvey. I'm with Indivior. I'm the Criminal Justice Access Director for the state of West Virginia. So I join these calls just to learn more from all you guys, and also just supply, if you guys ever need any resources in regards to how to set up an MAT program, Sublocade specific information, training for your staff, we can provide that. So thanks for having me join. I will have Sherry, since her head's right next to mine on my screen.
Thank you, Bonnie. Good morning, guys. This is Sherry. I'm with Aetna Better Health Community Development, and I cover the eastern 15 counties. Oh, sorry. How about Sherry with an I?
Hi, everybody. Sherry with an I, Catholic Charities. We did move. We are no longer down on School Street in Romney, West Virginia. We are now at, and I will put this in I'll put another clip on chat, but we're up on Main Street now, so we're a lot easier to get to. And we're trying to continue to help people get clothes, and we do have something in the works to try and help people get funding for IDs. Melissa Clark, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Melissa Clark. She's actually in Maryland, but she's like right across the river, Potomac River from us. And she and I are going to try and work together to figure out something so that we can have a few bucks squirreled away, so that if somebody comes in and they've been released without an ID, that it's going to be a little bit of an easier process to find the money, because we can get them there, but if they don't have any money to get the ID, it's kind of a moot point getting there. So we are working on that. Still helping with Potomac Highlands Regional Jail. If inmates get out and they don't have clothing, we're trying to help bridge that gap. And I've referred a lot of people to the reentry council. They'll call and be like, yeah, I can't get a job, I'm a felon. It's like, nah, that's not quite true. We'll work on that. So I think that I kind of have seen a lot more releases here lately. I don't know if I'm just reading into that, or if there's like been a lot of good behavior. It's like, and I don't know how true this is, but since the colder weather is gearing up, we might have a lot more people going into jail, so that nobody's homeless for the winter. But so that's me, and that's where we're at. If anybody needs any help, reach out and I'll try and find it. And Jen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jen. I am located at Northwood Health Systems in the Northern Panhandle. I am the outreach coordinator for our crisis units, and we have two. We have one in Wheeling and one in Weirton. We do have bed availability for males and females 18 and older, and we can assist with detox and also acute psychiatric signs and symptoms. We are a short-term stay, about 5 to 7 days. Our goal is to stabilize their symptoms and then send them to a longer-term rehab or outpatient services, whatever they need. So I will pass along to Seth.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Seth Hansen with Groups Recover Together. I'm the Partnership Development Manager. We're an outpatient opioid use treatment program in West Virginia. We have 7 locations across the state and offer a hybrid option for treatment as well. And Krishna beat me to the point. We're actually having an open house and member appreciation party in Martinsburg on the 8th of October. You guys are more than welcome to stop by. It's from 11 to 4. The address is on the flyer. It's in Aiken Center in Martinsburg. So thank you. And let's go to Danica.
Thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. My name is Danica Brown. I work for West Virginia Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation and Offender Services in Central Office. I assist with housing, sometimes birth certificates, and connecting to other recovery and community resources as needed. And I'm going to pass it to Rebecca.
1 second, I'm sorry. I'm Rebecca Markwood. I'm with the Potomac Highlands Guild, and I am the early diversion specialist. I help with youth and young adults who are at risk of entering the juvenile justice and criminal justice system. Do I pass it to somebody? I will pass it to Bonnie.
And since I already did it, I will pass it to.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I think you joined a little later.
I did.
Anna, did she go?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm the SUD coordinator for Potomac Highlands Guild, and I'm also a contract therapist at PHRJ.
I think we have Crystal and then Jay Simmons left, and then we'll save Rihanna for last since she's presenter. So Crystal.
Hi, Crystal Williams, Highmark Health Options. I am with West Virginia Medicaid, and I cover the entire state. It's nice to meet all of you.
Dave Simmons doesn't have a mic. He said he's a reentry affairs coordinator for SCI Cumberland. And they're having a mock job fair on September 18th at their work camp.
All right. Thank you, thank you. And then Rihanna, I made you co-host, so the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
All right, can everyone see the screen? Okay, my camera on my laptop's broken, so I'm sorry you don't get to see me today. So my name is Rihanna Heltzel. It was Rihanna Truman, so if you see that floating around, it's still me. I changed my name recently, but I work with Unicare. So we're one of a couple options for Medicaid here in West Virginia. So I thought I would just briefly touch on like how to enroll and Medicaid in general, and then I would go into Unicare. I think there's a lot of questions and a little confusion about it. So I thought I might clear that up just a little, maybe confuse you more. We'll see. But so how do you enroll? So say you need insurance and you want to apply for Medicaid or CHIP, you'll just go to DOHS or DHHR and apply. And you can apply online, by phone, or in person. And then from there, you will get a letter or a notification telling you if you qualify or not. And then from there, you'll receive a packet with all the different options of health plans for you to choose from. So you'll want to go through there and you'll want to look at them, look at the benefits, and see what's best for you. And then you'll choose. And then from there, you'll receive welcome packets in the mail. So how do you know if you qualify? If you receive SSI, if you're pregnant, children under 19, very low income families, people who are aged, blind, disabled, medically needy children and adults ages 19 to 64. And once you hit the 65, that's when you'll go over to Medicare. So I always, in college, they taught me Medicare, like you would care for the old, and then you would aid the needy. So that's how I remembered it in college. So once you get to 65, you'll go over to Medicare. West Virginia CHIP is for children under 19, and newly pregnant women may be eligible for CHIP if they live in West Virginia, are not eligible for Medicaid, are U.S. citizens or qualified immigrants, and meet the West Virginia CHIP income guidelines. So one thing that I always like to highlight, because we're still kind of in the renewal process of that. So during COVID, they wanted everybody to be insured. They didn't want anybody to go without. So if you lost your job, you could apply for Medicaid, and say later on a couple months you found another job and technically your income was too high, they were still keeping you on there because they just wanted everybody to be covered. Now, starting at the beginning of this year, West Virginia switched over to now you have to qualify for it. So they've been doing the renewal process. So always just make sure that your members or your patients or whoever you work with is keeping an eye out in the mail for that, because they're going to have to do that every year now. They'll have to go in and reapply and meet income guidelines. So they're going to want to check the mail, and it's not going to come from us. It's going to come from DHHR. And now they have the new name change, DOHS. And I've heard a lot of people are like, they didn't know what it was, so they just threw it away because of the name change. So just keep that in mind. Let them know that there's a name change and it looks different. And then from there, they'll renew just like they would apply. So online or in person or by the phone. And biggest thing is don't forget to update your information, especially if you've moved since the first time you have applied, because we're going to be sending that mail to your old address and then you'll be missing it. And then you might have a gap in coverage for a bit before you go in and reapply. So I kind of am going to go over a little bit about our benefits here at Unicare. So we have extra benefits at no cost for just being a member. That's what we call value-added benefits. So I highly suggest you go on the website and check that out. There, as you can see, there are a lot. Ones that I always like to highlight is we do oral care essential boxes. So that's electric toothbrush, toothpaste, and floss. We do gym memberships. We do personal hygiene products, $100 gas cards for members. So that's $25 every 3 months per household. And a new one we just added is the filtered water pitchers for eligible members in target counties. So our target counties is Harrison, Mineral, and McDowell. So those are the counties with the highest amount of lead in the water. So we like to offer them a water filter to try to lower the risk of lead poisoning. I just always like to add, you can get lead poisoning outside of water as well. You can get it through paint chips, toys. I know there's been a scare about baby bottles, the paint, like the measurement paint on the outside of the bottle having lead in it sometimes. So it's not just water. So you always want to be careful and check and make sure. So we have our pregnant member benefits too. So we do childbirth classes, dental care, and a baby essential $170 gift card. So they have to complete 6 prenatal visits, and then they can use that towards the purchase of baby items. And that card works for most of the big main places here in West Virginia. So Target, Walmart are the big ones. And then there's a lot of smaller ones out there that the card will work for, but they get to pick what they want. Because originally we were just sending the items to them in the mail, but we wanted them to be able to pick their favorite brands or whatever it might be. So they get to use that gift card towards that. So the way to redeem this is you have to make sure that they're going on our website here. And let me scroll up to the top here. So all you're going to do is log in. And I don't have like a fake account to show you what it looks like after this point, but they'll just log in. And if they've never logged in, they'll create an account. And then from there, they'll see the rewards hub and they can pick whatever ones that they qualify for. And then we'll send it to them. On top of that, we also offer healthy rewards. So we want to reward our members for living healthy lifestyles and doing preventative care. So one of the biggest ones is like the adolescent wellness visits. That's $25. We have dental visits for children, $25, and we also do breast cancer screenings. So that's $50, or cervical cancer screenings. So if you're going in and you're doing preventative care and doing checkups and screenings, we want to reward you, and you do the same way as you do the value added benefits. You'll go on the website and redeem those healthy rewards on there as well. So also on our website, we offer you're able to go on and find a doctor and get care 24/7. I'm going to highlight here our community resources tab, because that's what I do here at Unicare. I'm part of the population health team. So we focus on health equity. So we believe everyone has a fair opportunity to live a long and healthy life. And from there comes up SDOH barriers, which is social determinants of health. Some people call it social drivers of health. It's the same thing. So they're non-medical factors in one's living and working conditions and how it affects their health in the long run, which I'm sure all of us here are heavy focused on the SDOH barriers and stuff. But it comes down to things like playgrounds. Like when you were growing up, did you have access to playgrounds? Did you have sidewalks? Were you able to walk and get out? Did you live in a good neighborhood? Were you able to do that? Or did you have to stay inside? How was the environment growing up? Were you able to swim in the water, or was it too dirty, covered? Did it have too much trash? A lot of times here in West Virginia, did you have some kind of power or chemical plant next to you? How was the air quality? And then here with Harrison and Mineral McDowell, how was the water quality? Were you able to just turn your sink on and get a glass of water, or did you have to have filtered water? How was your diet growing up? Did you have money for food? Did you go to food pantries? Did you have access to food pantries? Did you experience homelessness at any time? How was your family relations? And all this will lead up to your adulthood and your health. If you were tight on money and you grew up eating like snack cakes and things like that because that was easy and that they didn't go bad fast like fruits and vegetables, and then now you have type 2 diabetes, like you would link that to your childhood and your diet and the way you were raised, and that's SDOH barriers. That's something that you were out of control of. As a child, you can't make the decision to eat fresh fruits and veggies. They're given to you. I kind of refer to it like a fire. A lot of times when there's a fire, people just want to they want to throw water at it and they want to extinguish it. But you learn that in order to stop a fire, you want to extinguish it from the bottom up. You don't want to just keep swiping the top of the fire. And that would be like just giving somebody a box of food when they say they're having a food barrier. We try to focus on the bottom of the fire, like how far down the fire we can get to try to really put this fire out and stop generational barriers as we go. So we'll call our members and we'll get we'll ask them, how's food, how's employment, how's utilities, and we'll get them connected to community resources in their area. And we do that using our community resource link. So one cool thing I say about this is you don't have to be a Unicare member to access this community resource link. I mean, currently right now, I'm not logged in as a Unicare member, and I was able to type in my zip code and pull all the food pantries up in my area. So that's always something you guys can go back to and use if you want to, which is Find Help. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with Find Help. So then part of an SDOH barrier is education. And that's where my job comes to play. I'm a health promotion consultant, so I focus on two things. I kind of wear many hats, but I focus on two things, and that is our partnership with community partners and resources in the area, like you guys. I focus on building good relationships with you guys so that you know who we are. So if we refer a member to you, you'll be like, yeah, Unicare, and you'll be up for helping our members. And then I focus on the education part as well. So I'll go out to different community events and partner and educate the community. I'm certified in Catch, which is Catch My Breath. So vaping, I offer a diabetes class for the community. So that's kind of what I do. Like I said, I wear many hats, but those are the two biggest things that I do. Does anybody have any questions about Unicare or anything today? I think I covered everything. Try not to take too much of your time.
Thank you, Rena. Can you go in just a minute and if you talked about this earlier, sorry. But as people coming out of incarceration, how they're signed, they're signed up with one provider, but then they can switch. And can you go through that process?
Oh, yeah, I meant to cover that. Yeah. So, say they pick an insurance plan and it's not compatible with them. Say they don't cover the doctor in the area that they need to go to, or for some reason we upset them in some way, they are able to go back to DHHR or DOHS and switch their provider. And they can do that as many times as they want throughout the year, as long as it's like 30 days. They have to give 30 days to do the switch for the system to update. So say they come to us, we upset them for some reason, they switch over to that plan, but then that plan's not compatible with them. They'll wait 30 days and they can switch over to the next one. So they have the freedom to switch as many times as they want, as long as, it takes that 30 days for the system to. So if they switch now on the 5th, they wouldn't start up till next month for the new plan, but they would always be covered.
Thank you. What about, do you have community health workers?
What was that? Sorry.
Do you have community health workers? People that can work with them to get them access to their care?
Yeah, so we have navigators.
Yeah.
And that's who calls the members directly and works directly with them to get them connected to resources. And we'll call them and we'll be as engaging as they want us to, or if they just want the one call and they want the food pantry and that's it, that's what we'll do. But if they want us to call back every 3 days and check in on them, or every week, every other week, we'll do it as long as needed. We're just trying to be the person that they can lean on and just kind of talk to. Oftentimes the navigators will just listen as maybe they just need to vent for a little bit and then they're good to go, and we'll do that as well. So we're just there for them. Answer any small questions they have. I mean, oftentimes we get the provider, on my member ID card, it says the wrong provider. That's something that they can go and switch easily. If they don't pick a provider within the first, I believe, let me check. That the state will auto assign them a provider. Same thing with the health plan too. I do want to throw that out. If they for some reason don't receive the packet, or they throw the packet away and they don't choose a health plan, the state will pick one for them. And it's kind of like a hat system. So they have a bunch of hats and they just drop names, and in each plan, and they just rotate it around. So sometimes they're like, I don't even know what plan I'm on. I didn't pick. That's because the state picked it for them. And they'll also pick a provider if you don't let them know what provider you want. But you can still go to the provider you want. It just doesn't show on your member ID card. That's your picked provider.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have any questions for Brianna? Catherine, you're here with us now. I'm gonna jump in. Anything you have going on?
Good morning, everybody. Sorry I was late. My college class went way over time. We are just inundated with the jails. We get referrals for everybody that's on an MOU, on some form of MOUD at the jails, and they're referring like 70. Eastern Regional is referring like 70 some people every month, and that's for one peer recovery coach to try to handle. It's too much. But it's good that they're at least getting referred versus getting nothing. So yeah, we on average help between the two jails, Potomac Highlands Regional and Eastern Regional Jail, 25 to 30 people a month. And that's about all we can handle. I mean, that's per jail, and that's about all we can handle because there's a lot of work that goes into getting them from jail to inpatient or outpatient treatment. And as you guys know, connecting the dots of getting them connected with the resources that they need for employment or housing or education, transportation, food, clothes, all of that. So thank you all for being so helpful, because the outside in, which would be all of you, the resources on the outside that provide all of those services to the individuals, we wouldn't be able to do anything without your assistance. And the DCR staff is very helpful too. I mean, when somebody needs something, they tell us. I just took Celebrate Recovery and Life Recovery Bibles to Potomac Highlands Regional Jail last week. They give those out. Yeah, we're just over here trying to do everything we could possibly do to help people. But I know we utilized Potomac Valley Transit Authority a lot for SOAR fund, because they were receiving SOAR funding for transportation. So when someone got out and they needed to go to treatment, they would transport them, but they have since the SOAR no longer is providing funding for that. So now we have to do everything through motive care, which is another obstacle, because we have a driver that is going to pick up and transport through Potomac Highlands Guild, but we have to do it through a motive care request, and he's only one person. And you guys, if you ever work with motive care, know it's a nightmare. So that's an obstacle that then's been thrown our way. I've been working really hard to try to work on, because we follow up 18 months after the person is released from jail to make sure that they're still going strong and didn't fall through the cracks. The success rate is we lose people. They just stop calling. They do relapse. They do reincarcerate. And a lot of times the stigma is still very strong about, well, this is their fourth chance. They don't deserve another chance. But who has the right to say 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, 20 chances? You never know when the one chance is going to be the one that makes a difference. So I would like to ask you guys, because it takes all of us as a community, when you see someone and they're saying, oh, just let them die, or they don't deserve Narcan, or, just say something. Just be compassionate. Everybody deserves a chance to live. And the stigma a lot of times is the biggest barrier that prevents people from being able to get and sustain long-term recovery. So I just want to thank you guys for everything you do. I know some days it can be overwhelming and seem like we're spinning wheels, but we're really not. There are people who are getting help and who are we're now up to 15 months of tracking from last year, and we have probably a 25% success rate of people who are maintaining that recovery, getting their life back together, working, being contributing members to society. So, you know, we are making positive change. So thanks, and don't lose faith.
Thank you, Catherine. The last thing you just mentioned, you know, is if you're seeing someone that needs help, you know, Bev always says if someone's having a heart attack and there's an AED right there, are you going to deny them assistance? So why is it different with Narcan? So, and then you mentioned Motive Care. We have heard through the grapevine that they are up for renewal and review. So, the state may be looking at alternative options. That's just what we have heard through the grapevine. So I don't know.
Let's hope they get well, but the provider before them, Logistic Care, wasn't much better.
So I don't know. I mean, if you need to take that to your local legislators and say, hey, you know, we had much better luck with the previous provider, then maybe that's what we need to do. So
yeah, everybody speak up, because at every, and I know you guys hear this too, every conference I go to, every meeting I go to, everywhere I go, that's always, every time I do my monthly reporting, that's always on there. Our biggest barrier is transportation in rural areas. I mean, like, we don't have, in Charleston and in larger communities in the parts of the state, there's Ubers. So that's an extra, but nobody wants to Uber somebody from, you know, way up in the hills to treatment. So yeah, I don't see that issue being resolved anytime soon.
yeah, we have lots of resources, but you know, getting them to those resources is a huge barrier. You know, Seth and is able to offer virtual counseling things, but you know, not everything. Again, we run into not everybody has reliable internet, and so rural state problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other issue we've had lately is getting people home plans approved. They used to allow them to go to like 28-day or like 3-month programs, home plans are there. Now they've kind of stopped that in our area, and they're saying they have to be like a 6 to 12-month program. And my argument for that was, well, how do you know when someone goes to a house, to an apartment, that they're going to stay there past 30 days? You know, at least if they're going to treatment, they're going to treatment, and then they can work on getting them further. So Eric and I have been talking a lot about going around and just educating, because a lot of times I find in the criminal justice system, they don't understand, you know, some people coming out of jail, even though they might have been in recovery for many months or years, it's a different environment when you're in jail to stay sober than when you hit the streets. And as soon as they hit the streets, it's kind of like day one again, and they need that 28-day intensive sometimes to get that, you know, that push and that, like, okay, I got this, and then go to a recovery residence. Some people just aren't ready for a recovery residence yet. So just advocate. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, Catherine, I will send you and Eric the recording and the chat, and there's a couple of flyers, so I'll send those to you. And then Aaliyah Tanner from Disability Rights is our October presenter. Does anyone have anything else? All right, well, everyone, there's almost 20 minutes of your day back. Thank you for all that you do and all that you are. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Catherine.